Okay, we're upstairs. We're in the loft. Now, with any luck, the footsteps we make up here won't alert them because we've got the stairs. We're on the second floor. I'm just gonna throw this empty can down in the living room and see what happens. Oh my god.
Oh god.
Oh shit.
Oh, that was a lot louder than I expected.
Oh, he's like right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I have shit in my pants.
I think we're okay.
Yeah, the smell is bad.
Now. Okay. All right. So we're gonna continue. We've got more Black Panther talk for you. Welcome back to Unmasked on Air, the show where the Graboids are trying to kill us and PJ shit his pants.
That's our new intro.
So here's the thing. I made this disclaimer last episode, so if you're tuning in again, we thank you for your continued listening. But I do just want to say it really quickly. When talking about Black Panther, created for diversity purposes, and then also continuing to be an incredibly powerful vessel for diversity and celebration. Obviously, we're going to broach the subjects of racial diversity. And we, being four predominantly white dudes, what we want to do is make sure that it is understood that we universally here at Unmasked on Air support everything that this movement, which has become, and it's amazing. We support it 100%, every aspect of it. We are not used to broaching this type of subject. We tend to try and stay away from things that can be misconstrued to be offensive, but none of us feel right discussing this without discussing the cause for celebration that is the triumph of Black Panther, that is hopefully the continued growth and the great step forward that we believe this film and also the character as a whole are for people of color and for their recognition and for their achievements and accomplishments in all fields. We are huge fans of the diversity that this is bringing out. And so, in talking about these subjects, should we say anything that is offensive, please, two things. Please know that we don't mean it to be. We want to celebrate. It's incredible. And two, if anything does come up, if you can and would like to gently nudge us and let us know, please reach out to us and let us know that maybe some of our phrasing or whatnot can be tweaked, because in the future we would like to obviously make it to where we can touch on these subjects as openly as we can. And so you can always let us know, should we say anything that can be construed as offensive? We'd like to know it. Otherwise, please know that we're coming from a place with glowing love for what this is.
Yeah, we're human beings, not racist assholes, and we're very happy with everything.
No, this is brilliant. Now
I'm not happy that they. I know we're still in spoiler land.
Oh yes. Yeah. Also, this discussion will have spoilers. They all have. If you haven't seen Black Panther, you've had weeks.
Yeah.
Go see Black Panther.
What's wrong with you? I'm just so sad that they killed Claw, because Andy Serkis is such a brilliant actor.
Well, they did the same thing with Ultron, and Spader was literally the greatest villain.
I love James Spader, and I loved Ultron, but I got to be honest, I love Andy Serkis's performance almost more. He has so much. It's like the Emperor in Star Wars. He has so much fun being just
he's like a psycho
shitbag, and I love it.
So we were just discussing, before we were interrupted by the Graboids,
right?
We were discussing Black Panther and it being arguably one of the most triumphant films in my lifetime. It immediately jumped, I think we've all agreed, to our top 5 favorite Marvel films. It's now Dylan's favorite Marvel film. Mm-hmm. I know you're very partial to the character already.
Yeah.
It has just been a phenomenal... Sorry, PJ's over here swinging from webs like Spider-Man.
Why can't we just talk about Spider-Man?
Do you want to talk about Lost, Derek?
We could.
Okay. We do not need to ever talk about Dylan. Or can we and you be the voices that we never have to talk about Lost on this show?
I mean, I really liked Lost.
Holy shit! It's just me. It's just me.
So we were talking about the film and how much we love it. And if you haven't already, you can always check out our previous episodes here where we talk, we have a PJ's Icebreaker question. We talk quite a bit just about Black Panther, the film. Derek, you are kind of a resident film guy with your degree and your, I mean,
just
honestly,
general love.
No, it's, you're a cinephile.
Oh yeah,
I've said it before on the show, and I will probably say it forever. You like
Michael Bolton and I have a lot in common.
they're both major cinephiles. So we talked a lot, and you guys all kind of contributed on the positives. Get real with me. Like, as a film, what did you find lackluster? What do you think it's missing or they did wrong?
The only things, it's not even things that they did wrong.
Sure. It's
things that I feel could have been done just a little bit better, and it mostly has to do with the ending.
Cool. Okay.
I think that they did a really good job, like we've said, of creating like this origin film that doesn't feel like an origin film, and we had already gotten introduced to T'Challa and the Black Panther in Civil War.
Yeah.
And before that, we had gotten introduced to Claw through Avengers: Age of Ultron, and we had also gotten introduced to the character's name is completely escaping me right now. Bilbo Baggins.
Everett Ross.
Thank you. Everett Ross. We got introduced to him in Civil War as well. Is that where he came in? Because he was after
Winter Soldier.
It was Winter Soldier. Yeah, because he was doing the interviews with or interrogations more like with Winter Soldier. So they've been stringing all these parts along, and then we finally get introduced to Wakanda. And while it does take place in the MCU, it does a great job of like developing Wakanda as its own setting, and that they're dealing with things outside of the MCU that's not so stuck with these other heroes and things. But we know from the trailers of the Infinity War, which is quickly approaching at this point, that Wakanda is going to play a big part, which a lot of people have speculated that the one of the last Infinity Stones is probably housed in Wakanda.
Yeah, the rumor that I had read was it specifically the Soul Stone, and that's how this realm of Panther afterlife exists here, is because of that stone.
It was Civil War, by the way. You were right.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I just double checked it. It was Civil War.
Dylan's pull there.
And
so it's going to play a big part because Thanos is going to need to go there to get said stone. We've seen from the trailers that the Black Panther, along with the with what do we call him now? He's not the
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier. Is he?
Well, at the end, one of the after credit sequences of Black Panther, they refer to him as the White Wolf.
Right.
Which, just as a quick aside, in the books, the White Wolf is a white guy who, as a child, survives a plane crash over Wakanda. T'Challa's father, the previous Black Panther, adopts him, and he becomes a member of the Wakandan secret police.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they call him the White Wolf, and he wears a costume similar to T'Challa's, but it's all white.
Okay.
So I think that may be what they're
that
doing.
Would be cool.
And Dylan actually pointed that out to me.
do you think they're going to give him his arm back with Wakandan technology?
Ooh.
Like, do you think they're going to just leave him armless, or do you think they're going to? I mean, they probably give him something.
I mean, from the trailer, he does have an arm.
Right.
He has a metallic arm. So along with him and Falcon and Captain America,
yeah,
they are leading a Wakandan army against some alien creatures that I don't know the names of.
Sure.
But they are from the Infinity storyline that happened about 5 years ago, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've done the best job within that movie of setting up why it's important or where those things are going to come. And I guess that will have to happen very early on within Infinity War. You mentioning the sting at the end of the credits with Winter Soldier, I thought that was one of the weakest stings that the MCU has ever had.
Yeah.
I think so too. So I feel like they bettered make that an important thing in Infinity War. Like, whatever it is, and usually it's some great big nod or wink to, like, meanwhile in the evil lair, and you're like, oh shit.
Right.
This didn't give me that at all, so it better be like a we now get to know something.
Or even from Civil War, you get the sting that they've put the Winter Soldier in Wakanda, and then you see the big,
right.
You see the big
Panther statue.
It's honestly like it's one of the weakest ones since since Nick Fury walks in at the end of the bar. You know what I mean? Like, that was like, oh shit, this might be a thing. But now that we know it's a thing, we've come to like expect a sting.
Right.
Because we do. The first one was great. Like, hey, by the way, I'm revealing Wakanda, and it was like, oh shit, dope.
I have a problem with that one too.
Do you really?
I love what it's there for. Mm-hmm. I love the political, like, that is where they finally took the gloves off. Like, if you thought that they were like pussyfooting around like the whole rest of the movie about like, this is a political statement we're making here.
Right.
That is the moment where they're like, nope, gloves are off. Here is what we're talking about. We need to come together as a people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And not build walls between them.
No, like they nailed you in the face with it. Not only that, but I loved well, what does Wakanda have to offer us? And then it was just this grin of like, oh, ye of little faith. It was that concept of like, look at you and what you think you know about us. Let me show you what we are.
Which, of course, in the original edit of that after credit sequence, T'Challa, Black Panther, suits up and dives across and slashes that guy's throat out. And it's a brutal murder sequence.
Yeah, he eats him like an actual panther.
Yes, he becomes the man.
Right.
He dines on his flesh. He drinks his blood. He wears
gets
his
the
skin.
powers of a regular old senator guy from like Milwaukee. So he actually gets a lot weaker, but like.
And then he, of course, becomes Senator Kelly, and he destroys the X-Men and turns into a slug.
It turns into X-Men. like a jellyfish creature.
Was that X2?
Yes. No,
that's
X3.
X3.
It's X3.
No, that's an X-Men 1 with Senator Kelly.
Yeah,
becoming jelly.
You're right. I was thinking about
Stan Lee is on the beach whenever he becomes. That's his cameo though.
He's like, "Man, help me," and then melts into a slug person.
I wonder, has there been a Stan Lee cameo in every Marvel film?
Not all of them, but the grand majority.
Because I know that, like, I don't think the Blade ones have Stan Lee cameos.
I don't believe so. I will have to do. I will look that up and I will figure that out.
That's a good question.
But he doesn't have one in Logan.
Yeah, I know.
Really?
I do not believe he has one in Logan.
No, he does. He definitely doesn't have one in Logan. Whether they plan to or not, I don't know. But I watched that movie like 5 days ago.
Of course, that could also be like, of all the films they've ever made, that could be the one, I think, where they were like, no, this is serious. We don't want to break it up at all.
Now, I guess back to my point of, I love what it's there for. I love what they say. I love what it stands for. I love everything about the scene except for that last line and the look of knowing, because the movie had just ended in the exact same way.
Right. And I thought that too with the spaceship reveal in the park. Is that yours? And he's like,
and he gives the little,
is it?
He gives the little knowing smile, and it's like, okay, that's awesome. Boom, we're hit with soundtrack. We're hit with the like the first part of the credits are going, and then we get with the midway credit scene, and then it's that, and it's like, oh fuck, we got so political and so awesome, and like they're just digging it in, and I love it. And then he just does the same, like, well, what do you have to offer?
What if he had just looked over, and then in the middle of the UN, the spaceship appears again?
It literally is.
And then the guy's like, wow, mister, is that yours? No, I think so. Would you have been happier if instead of just giving the knowing smile, he just said, like, anything? You'll see, like, any kind of reaction that wasn't exactly the same reaction.
Yeah, I don't know how to fix it is the thing, because I love, like, at the end,
the old grown man is like, can I pet the kitty?
The idea that it's like he reverts back to infancy. He's like, wowzers!
Gee, mister, that sure is a cool spaceship. Is that yours?
It's like I don't know how to act.
And then at the end, right, you get Bucky, And then he comes out there like, White Wolf, I see you've healed. And then she pushes a button, and the spaceship's there on the beach. And then he's like, wow, is that yours?
Okay, that would have made it better. Thank you. That's the best fix.
I am Thanos the Destroyer. I have come to take... Holy shit. Is that yours?
No. Wow.
Wow, mister. Is that yours?
And he just looks at him and pets Thanos on the forehead. Like a little kitty pet. And he blows a gumball. He's got a little spinny head on when it comes back.
Which brings me to my next point.
Thanos is a child?
Darkseid is a baby. No. No. I didn't think about this because I am a comic reader, and I may not be the most well-versed when it comes to Black Panther or about Thanos or about a lot of other things in the Marvel Universe. I know sparingly the Marvel Universe.
Sure.
I will fully admit that. But it did not come to mind until I watched the Black Panther review on Half in the Bag from Red Letter Media, and they're a series that I wholeheartedly I love. I watch everything that those guys do. I don't always agree with them.
Sure.
But I do enjoy their commentary on things. Jay brings up a very good point from that series that I hadn't thought of. If you are not a comic book fan or have a knowledge of who or what Thanos is, the MCU has done a terrible job of making you understand why it is so horrifying that he is coming to Earth.
Like all these brief little seconds that we're getting of him at the end of these movies. For us, you're right.
What has he really done?
Do you remember
if you don't know who Thanos is,
right?
Remember the first time
End of Avengers
we saw him?
Yeah.
If you want something done right, you gotta
that's
do
not
it
the
yourself.
That's almost the last time we've seen him.
The first time is in Avengers after...
Oh, yeah.
He literally just turns and faces the camera.
See, I thought it was a Skrull at first.
See, that's the thing is, I didn't.
too.
So it wasn't the first time we saw him. I misspoke. The first time I felt the oh shit was when he put his hand in the empty gauntlet and said, "If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself." And then it just closed, and I was like, "The fuck is he gonna do though?"
See, but you know who he is, and you know what the gauntlet
that
is.
means
so
we're all
you're
fucked.
like, oh shit,
Right.
If you don't know who that is,
You're right.
You have no idea.
The only real time that I can think of in the MCU, in all of it, that really you see Thanos as an imposing figure is in Guardians 1.
Yeah.
And he's there for such a series of time, and everyone's like, Thanos the Destroyer. But then like John C. Reilly's character in the Nova Corps is like, yeah, it's Thanos' kid. And it sounds like Thanos is like a tagger who runs around and sprays dicks on shit. Like,
Right.
It's just, oh, Thanos, it's his kids, I guess. And you're absolutely right. And they've been setting this up for a fucking decade.
Yeah.
Well, they better do a good job at scaring the shit out of us in his first 5 minutes on screen. Like, that's the only other way you can save this.
Dylan, can you do your best Josh Brolin Thanos impression?
Probably not.
I love the honesty.
You know my thing, Derek, and I don't want to derail really bad, but like, I also think he looked better when he had this thing about if you want something done right.
His look has changed every single time he's been on
Right,
screen.
Yeah.
and I honestly preferred it when it was like a little more purple and he was a little more
Well,
like
I think-
alien looking. Now he honestly just looks like a dude with a weird chin and like bad chemo
He looks
burns.
like the guy from Pawn Stars. Have you seen that picture where it compares the two
Yes.
of them? He looks like the dude from Pawn Stars.
I haven't seen that, but I don't know. I just that's my bigger MCU issue right now, and I didn't realize it was an issue until it was given to me from someone who doesn't know the comics at all. So I am ecstatic about the idea of the Infinity War.
Oh,
I cannot wait for that movie.
for sure.
No, me either. Although
Yes.
Iron Man's gonna fucking die.
Oh yeah.
I'm calling
that.
it. And the only thing that could make it any better for me, Infinity War, is if Kendrick Lamar does a soundtrack for it again. That's my second favorite part about. My first favorite part about Black Panther is Chadwick Boseman's performance, because I think he's great. I think he's a cool person. But Kendrick Lamar's soundtrack is so fucking good. Every song in that album is good, and it's just a bunch of artists that love the movie and love the movement came together and made this amazing soundtrack. Ah, so good.
You've been listening to it nonstop.
That and Harry Potter audiobooks. I wish I was kidding.
It's an interesting choice for you, but good.
Makes
Good on
the
you.
workday go by.
All right.
So we're going to do something that I'm very excited for. We've talked about this for a while. This was Derek's idea, and I am thrilled to be in a place where we're finally doing this.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to unmask our first character. So for those of you that don't know a lot about Black Panther, the movie's a really great way to get your feet wet into the character. But if you'd like to know a little bit more about the comic book history and backstory of T'Challa, the Black Panther, we're going to take the next little bit and kind of talk about his backstory by unmasking Black Panther. And for that, we're going to go to our resident Black Panther fan, Dylan.
Yeah.
All right. So in 1966, just 4 years after Marvel was founded, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, two big names in comic book world, introduced us to the first black superhero to be in mainstream comics, and that was Black Panther. He first appeared in Fantastic Four number 52. This was mid 1966. It was just 2 issues of the Fantastic Four, and pretty much the premise of it was T'Challa invites the Fantastic Four to Wakanda and decides in an attempt to prove himself to try to take down the Fantastic Four, and they beat him, and he brings them into Wakanda and introduces them to the technological advancements of Wakanda that have been hidden for God knows how many years by now.
So all of that is from his first appearance. Like, that hasn't changed since then.
No.
That's awesome.
Also, I had no idea that makes him like one of the oldest Marvel characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Marvel technically started in 62, I think.
Didn't we say that it wasn't Spider-Man in 62? Amazing Fantasy number 15?
Yeah.
So his first appearance was in the Fantastic Four comics, and then again, not too long after that, in Fantastic Four annuals. And shortly after that, he made an appearance in Tales to Astonish along with Captain America. I'm not 100% on this, but I believe that's when Cap got his shield.
Very close. I'm sorry. I was just doing... Marvel started in 39 as Timely Publications, and by the 50s had become known as Atlas Comics. Marvel branding began in 61.
That's what
So
it was.
That's okay.
Still,
Cool.
that's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got his first solo story arc in Jungle Action Comics between issues 6 and 24, and it was called Black Panther's Rage, and it was, to my knowledge, considered the first graphic novel because it was just one continuous story from beginning to end.
What's neat about that is that in our previous discussion, we mentioned that Killmonger also started in Jungle Action number 6, so that makes him like...
Well, it's kind of like...
That makes Killmonger like his first major
One
villain.
of his first ones, yeah.
Right.
That's
and
awesome.
It's kind of like say, Batman number 1
Right.
introduces the Joker.
Right.
So...
Cool. Okay. That's awesome. Now, and what was the name of that run you said?
Panther's Rage.
Okay, cool.
From that, it segued into Panther versus the Klan, which is Black Panther versus the Ku Klux Klan.
How did that come about?
From what I heard, it was someone writing to Jack Kirby about there not being a lot of white people in the Black Panther comics. And so that was his answer.
So his answer was to make the white people the KKK.
Hey,
No, that's brilliant.
he put a lot of white people in the next issues.
So essentially, from the get-go, this has been a commentary on racial divisiveness.
From what I understand, it wasn't... They never call them the KKK or the Ku Klux Klan.
it was just the Klan.
With a C. It was the Klan.
Right.
No,
But
it was
was it
with
a
a
bunch
K.
of white
Oh,
dudes
was it?
dressed
Yeah, they
like
spelled it with a K.
ghosts? Like, racists?
Pointed hoods and burning
Gotcha,
crosses.
right.
In Georgia is where that takes place, I think.
I don't know fully because it's hard to find those comics to read.
I'm sure.
Now, Black Panther and that time period, is he taught, like, Was he in response to the Black Panther Party movement?
Stan Lee has been quoted saying that no, it didn't have anything to do with any of the Black Panther movements or anything that came before that. He said that the inspiration for Black Panther came from a Pulp Fiction comic that he was a fan of, the antagonist of which had a panther familiar, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Like it was just sort of his animal that he had around.
Yeah, right.
And that was where the inspiration for that came from.
It's interesting.
So I just looked it up here, and he actually predated the Black Panther Party by a few months.
Yeah.
And then for a while in 1972, they changed
Leopard.
his name to Black Leopard to avoid controversy or confusion, but then
Which
they went
didn't
back.
last long.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah, it was in Georgia. Is where he fights the Klan. The storyline's in Georgia, which is funny because wherever, because they name a city in that book, and apparently they banned Black Panther for 5 years. You couldn't. Wow. None of them bought it.
I didn't know that.
Oh shit! Clearly that affected that character.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
he hasn't lasted the
that's the time.
the test of time.
I actually noticed something. This was something I thought about for a second. Black Panther's first appearance was in Fantastic Four number 52, and now here we are 52 years later, and he gets his first film. And then it was again in Avengers number 52 again, where he joined the Avengers. I don't remember if that was before or after Jungle Comics.
After.
It was.
Yeah.
Because when did he get his first? When did they start naming?
His first comic.
Yeah,
his first self-titled.
Yeah,
line,
self-titled.
Was 1977. Jack Kirby came back to do 12 issues, but he was. We wanted to do more new things. He didn't want to work on a character that he had been working on for some time by now.
Okay.
So after he left, he passed off to Ed Hannigan, who took on for the rest of the Black Panther line, which went on to number 15 and then picked back up in Marvel Premiere 51 through, I want to say 54 or something. It was only a few issues.
Somewhere in that ballpark, he makes a couple of appearances in Daredevil.
Yes.
And that's when I discovered Black Panther.
Okay.
Clearly, I wasn't alive in the 70s, but what I mean is reading through Daredevil comics of old is when I discovered Black Panther.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the first time that you ever heard of Black Panther? PJ, you just said that specific comic book.
Well, the first time I ever heard of Black Panther was in Ultimate Alliance.
That's my answer.
That's my
Yeah.
Because you look at the lineup of them all standing there, and you're like, what's Batman doing in here?
Well, the coolest part is when you're filtering through his alternate costumes, and he has the high collar and the long cape. I always rock that one.
Oh yeah, no,
I
that's
love
cool.
that.
Yeah,
but no, the first time I ever read anything with T'Challa specifically as Black Panther in it was in Daredevil. He shows up in Daredevil.
it's just funny to me that Ultimate Alliance is where I learned about him. It's where I learned about Moon Knight.
Yeah.
The random ass character Moon. There's a few of them that I discovered because of that game. Kind of like how when I was a kid, I didn't know that Colossus was a thing until I played the arcade game at Chuck E. Cheese's.
Right.
Which is actually also now at this place we go to, Lowry Parkade, which is like a beer and wine and arcade game place
Tampa.
in Tampa here that we always go to, and they had that arcade game. We beat that arcade game. Patrick and I
we
beat
did
that.
it drunk. Well, I spent $15.
Yeah, no, we just slammed quarters and we just beat the shit out of that game. It was great.
We slammed quarters onto tables. And the thing that Black Panther sticks in my head because I'm such a Daredevil diehard.
Yeah, we know.
Shut up.
You're talking about Spider-Man?
One of the things that sticks in my head is Daredevil. I think it's after Karen Page dies. He's going through something. Yeah, fuck you. He's going through something personal. Matt is in his life. And so he has to leave the mantle of Daredevil for a while because he can't deal with it.
Yeah,
so fucking Black Panther becomes Daredevil.
Black
That's
Panther,
awesome.
the Man of Fear, and that was after I forgot the name of the arc, but where Matt becomes the leader of the Hand.
Yeah.
It was after that.
Shadowland. Okay, so then that's
Shadowland,
not after the
that's
No, that would be after the death of Elektra.
Yeah.
Because then shortly after is when...
Also spoiler.
Shadowland comes out. Everyone dies in Daredevil. Everybody dies except Foggy. Foggy's had cancer and he's still alive.
No.
Oh, that's a spoiler.
No, everyone dies in Hellblazer, and they don't bring them back.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because that's the book where they could and no one would
But they could, absolutely.
Iron Man shows back up in New Avengers #1 after being dead for 10 years, but fucking Constantine can't bring people back.
Nope, they're dead and gone.
Okay, so from his first appearance on like all the Wakanda and all the like way over the top like technology and everything was there, what was like his suit like? How has his suit changed over the years?
To my knowledge, he's always had the vibranium weave.
Okay.
I want to say that was one pretty early discovery in Wakanda, was making vibranium into a weave.
But like he has had a cape in the past.
Yeah.
He's also had like a mouthless cowl. Like the mask that he wears, his mask is or his mouth is shown.
More
Yeah,
like Batman.
His earlier,
Okay.
He had
his
a cape
earlier
in his
appearances.
he had a cape in the first appearance here. I'm looking at some of the reference pictures. In the Fantastic Four issue, he's got the cape. And then in Jungle Action, he does not have a cape anymore. And he's got like the quintessential like lines down his gauntlets and his boots that we've kind of come to know him as.
Right.
And then for a while, it looks like he's had like they've gone back and forth about the Batman white eyes versus like his actual eyeballs in the cowl.
And I love that in the movie. I hate to sidestep into the movie again, but in the movie, the vibranium suit, the actual helmet, like the mask of the suit, the eyes filter on and off. And it's like playing with that like classic appearance versus new appearance. I love it.
True. Hold on. Now I'm looking at an original cover of Black Panther first appearance. His nose and mouth were exposed.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what PJ was saying. He looks very much like
and
Batman.
sometimes he wears black and gold, and sometimes it's black and purple. I think actually, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dylan, but I think like the striped gloves and the striped gauntlets, I think that was supposed to be the first like, well, this is vibranium weave. Like, oh, look at these lines, and I thought that was the purpose.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on that.
Who knows? Jack Kirby was a crazy person.
Here he is in the Avengers, May of 19. See, it doesn't give me a year, but the Avengers featuring the Grim Reaper, the man who killed the Avengers, and he kind of looks like just jacked beyond all belief
Yeah,
in a
he
bodysuit. Like,
Okay, well, yeah, he can one shot a rhino under its solar plexus with a fist.
Okay, that's a good point. How much of his power is from like the suit versus
The fruit.
the fruit? Ooh, that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, I like the way that happened.
You're brilliant, Eric.
I did not say it.
I
You
want you
said
to
it.
be my husband.
Most of T'Challa's, most of the Black Panther's attributes will come from the fruit which he eats, which endows him with the power of Bast, the Panther God.
It's metal.
At least in some cases, T'Challa actually goes on to be take on the mantle of the unknown Panther God, which is pretty cool. He picks up some extra powers from that other previous Black Panthers didn't have.
Isn't that when he becomes like the official king of the dead?
Yes.
you know what's really cool?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
He gets the ability to raise the dead. I don't remember if he can. I believe he can commune with the dead.
He can commune with the dead, and he can like in Lord of the Rings, how he controls Aragorn controls like an army of spirits. He can kind of do that too, like past Black Panthers. In Secret Wars, there's this amazing sequence where all the Marvel zombies who live behind the shield wall, which Dr. Doom has constructed out of Ben Grimm's The Thing. The wall breaches, and Black Panther jumps in. And because he's the king of the dead, he's like, "Halt! You will obey me!" And all of the Marvel zombies are like, "What's happening? What's wrong? I want to eat this. I want to eat this motherfucker, but I can't. I have to obey him." And like Sabretooth is like, "Why am I not eating him?" And he's like bowing down and shit. It's hilarious. But yeah,
you know what's really cool? Speaking of the ancestors and the different gods, in the film, even though they don't really touch on it and they only get a split second where you see all the different panthers in the trees, they specifically designed each one slightly different to represent all the different cat gods from all the different mythologies, because in his comic book backstory, they talk about them all the time. There's like the Egyptian cat god, there's a Greek cat god, there's so each one of them, even in the film, when they show the different panthers, it's not like they just put a bunch of panthers up there. In their minds, each one was a different named character, which
it's just
I thought
the amount
was
of
badass.
detail and thought that was put into it.
But so he gets the hit.
Unknown Panther God.
Panther. I was gonna say Hidden Panther, and I was like, that sounds wrong.
Yeah, like the super strength, super agility. I don't believe if a lot of his like mental attributes come from the Panther God powers give him the past knowledge of previous Panthers as well.
Yeah.
So that attributes to that.
But they're all super smart. Like his whole royal family is like really beyond
I think it's
intelligent.
just I chalk that up to good genes.
Good genes,
like
and
T'Chaka was a wonderful man. So is T'Challa.
Well, but I don't just mean that. I mean like literally like their knowledge of technology. But I think that comes from the world.
Well, they also had a tendency. The kings or panthers, shamans, and the sort would travel around the world and collect knowledge, and that's how they get a lot of their knowledge.
And their beetle mask ship. A quick aside, talking about Bast and the Panther God. So when you take the mantle of the Black Panther and you are royalty, Bast has claim of your soul, which is how you get to go to the great beyond, the Wakandan spiritual afterlife. And so Black Panther and something with like the supernatural element of Marvel Comics makes a deal with Mephisto and sells him his soul.
Yes.
And then Mephisto's like, all right, time to pay the piper. Give me your soul. And he's like, I don't have my fucking soul. She does. And Bast shows up and tears Mephisto to shreds.
That's awesome.
Because Mephisto just couldn't handle that amount of spirits because Bast has so many spirits.
Yeah.
And
it's fucking cool. He's
also,
fucking cool.
Black Panther just bursts in through the door and punches the devil in the face.
Yeah.
That is
pretty much the coolest shit ever.
Well, yeah, it was in Georgia, and it was the Klan. That's the devil. He just punched it right in
he
the
went
face.
down to Georgia.
Holy shit, that was the best thing that we've ever not done.
Speaking of all that, some of his more prominent arcs. One of the first ones being Panther's Rage. Was his first solo story arc, as well as one of the first graphic novels.
I've heard that one is hailed as basically Marvel's first like true graphic novel.
Yeah, because it was one of the first times that they wrote a story arc within that title that was just like all solid one story.
And that's
start
called
to
Panther's
finish.
Rage?
Or Black Panther's Rage. I'm not 100%.
I'm glad you knew about that because I haven't read that, and that's something I plan to read.
That's why I double checked because I'm going to look it up.
It's again, I've looked it up. It's hard to find one to read unless you buy it, and it's a little expensive.
Not to mention,
that's one I wouldn't mind having on my shelves.
It's amazing that like his first go round is one of his best stories because it's like, have you read
Batman's
have
first
you read
anything
Detective
is
Comics 27?
That's garbage.
Have you read?
There's a man in pajamas who beat up the mobsters, and it's like, what the fuck am I reading?
Amazing Tales. Fucking Spider-Man's his first appearance is like, this is Peter Parker. I hate high school. It's just terrible. I'm the Green Goblin. Damn you, Gobby.
They killed my parents. And I have a cape that is 2 capes connected to my wrists and ankles. And in this panel, I'm wearing gloves, but they keep disappearing. That's the first Batman right there. Every other panel, he has gloves on, and then they're gone. And then they're back, and then they're gone. Also, his mask is Wolverine.
Another big arc for him was his run in The Avengers, which, again, was 52 to... I want to say around 100. It was quite a few issues where he was part of the Avengers, and he made a regular appearance in there. Another big one was the one that I got started in with Black Panther, which was the Christopher Priest run.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The first, I guess, arc in that is the Client. we see a lot of Everett Ross and his relationship with Black Panther, which I love.
Yeah.
I love Everett Ross. He's
great. The actor. What's funny is that I knew the character name, but I don't know the actor's name. It's like
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman.
Yeah.
He's so good in that movie.
He really
Yes,
is.
he is.
That was my start. The Christopher Priest run really wraps everything up. It includes just about everything you need to know about Black Panther, his lore, Wakanda, and all of that stuff.
And it translates it really well because I'm reading through that now. It translates it pretty well into today.
And you mentioned the Black Panther Man Without Fear.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite runs.
I love
with
that
him.
fucking book, dude. Or well, those books, but
And that's pretty much about where Black Panther, through whatever reason that I can't remember at the moment, feels like he's not worthy of the Black Panther mantle at the moment. So he decides to denounce the powers of the Panther God. He travels to America where he finds an opportunity to take over Daredevil's mantle and as protector of Hell's Kitchen. And without his powers, just pretty much tries to prove to himself that he can be a superhero and the man that he wants to be without the Panther God powers.
Dope.
And I think that's really cool because that would strip him of his super strength, his agility, his super senses.
It makes him Batman.
Pretty much. And
Smart, rich ass kicker.
And T'Challa, to explain why he's there, to hide in plain sight, buys and opens a restaurant called The Devil in Hell's Kitchen. It's brilliant.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about Black Panther is his powers, the technology. Vibranium is such an interesting concept. The fact that it absorbs sound and energy and waves, I think that's really cool.
Yep.
And just all around, Black Panther's just one of my favorite Marvel characters.
And it's, we went to MegaCon a few years back, and we all went, and it was our pilgrimage, and it was such a good time. And we all got things from Scratch and Dent booth from Coliseum Comics, which is located out Orlando. But the one thing that you picked up, and that's kind of how we all found out that you like Black Panther so much.
Yeah.
There's like a Ghost Rider statue and a couple Batman things and a Doctor Doom helmet. Those sons of bitches. But there's I missed out on a really good sale. But there's a bunch of stuff out there. And Dylan walks up and he's like, I just spent like $250 on a statue. And I was like, oh shit, what'd you get? And he pulls it out. And it's Black Panther with the fucking cape, knee up on the Panther statue in Wakanda. And I was like, that's fucking amazing.
Like, admittedly,
Yeah.
it blew my
Really
mind.
dope.
And then Calvin got an Iron Man helmet, and he filled it with lights, and it's a bad lamp.
Yeah. You got that sweet Hellboy.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Oh, shit.
What was that?
Oh god.
No, the floor is creaking.
No, but
Yeah,
we're up
Do
here.
you feel that the floor is creaking?
Yeah.
No, we're up here though.
It's wood.
Yeah,
Of course
well-
it's going to creak.
No, but
Yeah, but this much?
Are you
Oh my
shit
God.
talking my
Oh my God.
apocalypse?
Jesus Christ. God.
Oh my God. The loft is collapsing.
breaking the loft. We gotta go.
Derek, get
We
up to
gotta
the
go.
sunroof.
Okay.
Get up to the skyline.
Grab the stuff.
I'm gonna
gotta
buy
go.
you guys more time.
Calvin,
Yeah.